types of class we have, and possibly a couple of different species of the Yowie. Now, the Aboriginals up in Gympie, which is also in southeast Queensland, they tell of two different types, and they speak specifically about the very human type, not quite as robust, but tall, slender, human attributes, and also a very human-looking foot. Now, this one here, this is Exhibit A. We've done a latex mould of this foot, which we got from the Gympie area not too long ago. Now, as you can see here, this is a very human-looking foot. We've got a very large instep, far wider than the normal humans. Not much longer than the humans, but the circumstances surrounding this is this creature here actually attacked the camper van at 2 o'clock in the morning while there were people sleeping in it. That's quite interesting. But the other type that the Aboriginals talk about, and again we're referring to the Aboriginals of Gympie and Kilkeevan, they talk about in the same area, the same habitat, also being occupied by the big beast type. And again, from the same area we have a different type of footprint, again far larger and uglier, may I add. Very large broad instep, basically the same size as what we'll find around in this area. Here we'll have the large beast variety, growing up to approximately up to about 10 feet tall. The most common height of the larger ones is going to be around about the 6 to 8 mark. As far as the more human-like that we've found in our journeys is probably the smaller ones, 4 or 5 feet tall. But this one here is being left by one of the larger beast types. This one here in the same area by one of the more human-like. And the other interesting aspect to this one here is that it also has a junior, either a little boy or a little girl that follows him around, and we know this because we found the footprints in the stream bed. Another interesting thing is that we've learnt over our time that these creatures, being such prolific hunters, very much like the ancient Aboriginals of yesterday, because they're such great hunters and trackers, they'd also be aware that they're being tracked as well, and of course their only predator would of course be human. So I think they're very aware of leaving their prints, and that's why we don't find too many. We'll find less in Australia than what you will over there in America, because our soil is a lot harder and it's a far more drier type of terrain. But in the sandy areas, we know, and we've been there, we've witnessed it happen, they'll actually rock hop up and down the stream bed as not to leave their own prints, which is very clever. And also the other thing was that the ancient Aboriginals, if they found something of value, whether it be bulbs or a beehive or some form of plantation or animal kill, what they would do is pile sticks up against the tree in a teepee form, and this was a territorial marker for the Aboriginals, and the Aboriginals of that area say that they learnt that from the Yowie. So there's a bit of history. Now, many people ask us what type of equipment we use. Well, our equipment inventory is very vast. We'll show you some of the footage of our operations and some of the equipment that we use after this. But in a basic pack, we'll have video camera, binoculars, imperative for every member to have a two-way radio, plus a headset. We have some other toys that we also find useful, such as game tracker, which I'm not too sure about this. I think it does get confused with other hot objects such as rocks and trees when they heat up during the day. I'm not overly confident, and even at night time with some of the traces of heat left in the rocks, it can still be inaccurate. GPS, very important. We've had to call on that many times. And also from America, we had sent to us, which is a lot cheaper than what we can get it here, is the infrared. Which brings me on to my next topic of infrared. Because in just about every instant we have used infrared with all of our security cameras and devices, every time we've used it, it has changed the Yowie's path, its habit, its actions. It changes its whole mannerism. We'll have areas that have had the Yowie coming to the house on a nightly basis for years. The moment we put the infrared up, completely different story. And we'll even see the tracks where the Yowie comes from the bush. And the owners will say, yeah, he comes down this way. Every night he comes to the window. So we set up the infrared on these tracks by the window. The moment we do that, we see, a few weeks later when we return, we find that the tracks actually go around the back of the infrared. It won't come anywhere near the window, and they'll have sleepful nights instead of sleepless nights for the duration of the time that we allocate our equipment to these premises. Not just a one-off, not two-off, but every time we go out to one of these places that have repetitive sightings and encounters around a homestead, a property, a farm, every time we use the infrared, it changes its mannerism. So there's something in the Yowie that is you can pick it up, you can see the beam. Humans can't. Moonlight, it's something perhaps reflecting. That's about the best we can get. Can the Yowie actually identify infrared? Two different types of infrared, completely passive. Of course, they're the white bulbs, and this one here that puts off the red glow. And we find that great. We've used this this system here for tracking down humans when we've been called upon to do that for TV shows, and where people have been in problems and no one else to call on. But another interesting thing is that the GCBRO in Texas, and Bobby Hamilton, has come up with exactly the same scenarios as we have. So there's got to be something to it. So what we find now, whenever we go out to a location, it's just a no infrared rule. We have an operation in progress as we speak, where this creature is getting up on the veranda of this house on a nightly basis again, and stomping up and down and causing all sorts of havoc. The moment we installed infrared, it stayed back. They said when they turned the infrared off, it came back up again. And now they're actually feeding it. So we hope to get a result from that.